Hey, welcome back to 5 Acres Sunny Farm. I'm Tara Lynn, and I have a quick video to share with you of something new that I'm trying this winter. Kind of like having a break from the garden is nice, but it's also kind of makes me have this longing to grow something. And a friend of mine gave me a microgreens kit, and by kit, mainly just a bag of some microgreen seeds, and I'll show you the package in a moment. And apologies for the forthcoming background noise because I'm just boiling some water for tea, but wanted to show you, I've been keeping in the front window this little tray, and this is just a reusable, from takeout food. I just put regular potting soil in here, and I just tossed the a fairly thick layering of the microgreen seeds right on top and made sure everything was well watered. And then I put a piece of tin foil across the top to hold the moisture in, because I was using the lid as a catch tray because there's holes in the black part. And I put this above the fridge. There's a little cabinet above the fridge, so it's a little bit of a warmer space. And I've kind of forgot about it, not for too long, for about 5 days. And when I opened it, it essentially looked like this. It just wasn't as green. The tops really hadn't dropped the seed part yet. And now I've been keeping it in the front window, kind of joking. It's on the typewriter, so kind of looks like this typewriter chia pet. And because that was so easy, I'm gonna take an intermission to go grab my tea, and I'll be right back. Okay, intermission over, and my tea is steeping. Because these microgreens were so easy, and what I'm planning on doing is I was growing it for our own consumption, just to put on top of, chili and salads and, sandwiches and things like that this time of year. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new tray like this every week until the gardening season really kicks off. Because with the amount that's here, like I could see that probably lasting about a week. And so that way, by the time we're done using one, another one is ready. And what I also want to do with it is to feed it to the quail and the chickens, because I feel like this would be a really great winter treat for them. Super nutritious, just as it's nutritious for us, it's nutritious for them. And I'm just really surprised how easy it was. And for like, these are like kale and like broccoli seeds, and I'll get the full list in a moment and I'll share that. So I've grown those before, and I know how quickly they germinate, but I haven't ever so densely sown so many of them together. And it's it's pretty impressive to me how great they've produced for this little space. And it's definitely something that I've been thinking about, of you could easily put this like on your dashboard in your car and like use your car as like a little greenhouse in the winter, or in the fall and the spring. And like if you're traveling a lot, maybe you have a RV or a camper, this would be an easy way to have like your own like garden on the go and have something nutritious that's on hand. But it's really sparked a few ideas for me where I'm like, oh, this is something, if we are going to go away for a weekend, I don't have to really worry too much about it. We could either leave it, or we could just bring it with us because it's so small and doesn't take up much space. So let me grab the bag of all the microgreen seeds so we could take a closer look at it. Before I grab the bag, so you can see what I'm talking about, where it looks like a typewriter chia pet. So this has only been here for 2 days, because it was, like I said, above the fridge for 5 days. And then just the last 2 days, I just rotate the tray each day. And you can kind of see what I was talking about with, like the little, let me see if I could find a good one. Here's a good one, where like the seed piece, the hull is still attached to the plant. So probably like once I see all of those have dropped, these would be ready for, like even these would be ready to kind of enjoy on some food. I'll include a link to these seeds in the description. Let me just get some better light over here so you can see. So again, my friend got me this 2 years ago, and If you do any gardening, you know that seeds last for a really long time if they're stored properly. So these have just been sitting in the basement, not in direct sun. And there's a dehumidifier running down there, so it's a fairly, you know, dry environment. And you can see they've got broccoli, kohlrabi, radish, collards, and turnips, and non-GMO, which is great. And let me see. Oh, the thing that I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, so this is packed November 2020, is that instead of putting the instructions on the bag and like wasting, I don't want to say wasting really, but you know, wasting a label and like printing unnecessary material, and it just links to the website, which was really helpful. And then you get to see what other varieties they have. And then of course, if there's any changes and like suggestions for growing, they could just update the online instructions. So I only used maybe like 2 to 3 teaspoons, maybe tablespoons of these seeds. I just kind of eyeballed it. I didn't use any type of measurement. I just, you know, grabbed it with my hand and just sprinkled it across the surface. So this is 1 pound, and I could see this lasting for another few years, just given that I will kind of be using it just seasonally. And, you know, and maybe next time I'll order some other varieties of their mixes just to see what the difference is. But in any case, this is something that has really surprised me and has been kind of like a simple winter kind of activity, but also like kind of like indoor gardening piece that has really been kind of like a bright spot as the days are getting shorter and darker. So if you have experience growing microgreens, let me know if you've got some varieties that you recommend, or if there's other growing methods that you recommend. I do have grow lights for my typical seed starting for the garden, so I could potentially do like trays and trays of these like larger, you know, kind of, I want to say standard, but like, you know, like the 72 cell style, like larger trays of the microgreens. But I just don't see our personal need for that. Like if you have a large family, or if you have a large flock of chickens and you wanted to kind of supplement their feed with this, I could see that being a great option. But we've got, you know, a fairly small flock of just a dozen chickens, and you know, I don't really see that the need to grow so much more. So like I said, I'm going to try and stick with doing a tray of these every week through the winter. And when I do start my spring seedlings, which I actually start them at the end of January, I might try doing a single large tray just for fun to see you know, how that goes and how quickly we use it up. But probably around that point, I'm going to stop doing this because I'll just be really overwhelmed with all the gardening and the beekeeping and all of that stuff again. Plus, we have a surprise coming in the spring, so we are preparing for that too. But I will share more about that once more details are finalized. But anyways, again, I will share this in the description, and please send me any tips that you have about growing microgreens.